Welcome one and all to Scotch and Smoke Rings episode 492. I'm your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn here as always with suspender set to maximum stun. If you're here looking for episodes 490 or 491, don't worry, you didn't miss anything. I was away for 2 weeks, therefore I wasn't able to sit here and perform Scotch and Smoke Rings for 2 weeks. So those episodes never happened. They're just lost to history, so you didn't miss anything. You're in the right spot. This is 492, the next episode after 489, and we're here to have a great time. More good news is that I fixed the technical problem that was making it hard for me to play Wolfenstein, the New Order, on my show. So I got the sound working, basically. So we will be able to play some Wolfenstein later tonight. Everything is set up and we're good to go. So let's just get right into it. I'm glad to have you guys here. As we typically do here on Scotch and Smoke Rings, it's about a 2-hour program. We'll do a Q&A for the first half of the show, and then we'll play the game for the second half of the show. So that's how it's going to go down. I'm finishing off the cigar that I started during my live stream earlier today. I was live streaming Fallout 76. So we'll finish this off, but I've got some backups already cut just in case. Dominique Elliott says, "Hi Ox, I had to put down RDR2 to watch you. Red Dead Redemption 2 to watch you." Well, I mean, hey, I'm not going to say that you did anything wrong there, but I'm glad to have you on the program. World War 208 says, Hawks, first time watching Wolfenstein, watched plenty of your Fallout streams. Well, good to have you here. I'm really enjoying Wolfenstein. It's got a similar thing to it because it's in an alternate universe of its own, so we're having a really good time. Armorill says, holy crap, I'm finally able to watch one of these videos. Love your channel. Welcome to the program. Thank you for the tip, Sebastian Y. Great to have you here. Roman Slayer says, hi, I'm a big fan. Well, you're in the right spot. True Flat says, yo, Wox, what's up, buddy? You sound better. Thanks. He's referencing a cold. I caught a cold. So I was gone for 2 weeks almost. It was about a week and a half. Had a wonderful time with the family, but all of my relatives have young children of their own, and what do young children do? They pick up every single sickness they possibly can at daycare and school and then bring them back to infect their families, especially if those family members are traveling out of town, which is exactly what happened to me. So I'm over the hump. I went through all of the nasty green stuff and then the yellow stuff. Now it's mainly watery stuff, and then that's starting to dry up a little bit, but you might be able to hear it in my throat, my voice a little bit. I'm on the fixing end. I'm getting better. And I figure, you know, if I'm going to be giving myself any medicine, well, a cigar with burning ash is the best. So let me take my medicine, folks. There, I feel better. We've got a lot. This is a special day because I had a shipment during my broadcast earlier today, and here it is. Nuka-Cola Dark. That's right. I bought 2 bottles of these. One for display. I'm just going to put it on that shelf back there. And one for drinking. And I'm going to be drinking this on the program today. I had no idea it was going to be this big. Holy cow. This is a huge bottle. Look at that. It's bigger than my head. Compare it to those bottles right there. Those are life-size bottles. 2-scale reproductions of Nuka-Cola bottles. That's twice the size. So it's not going to fit in my display very well. Don't know what I can do about that, but the bottle looks nice. I mean, it looks like a nice bottle. So here's the thing. I figure if we're going to review this thing, we've got to review it properly. So here's my rum glass. Oh, there's some left over from the program earlier. You know, I don't want to taint the experiment, so let's just down this. And start with a fresh batch. Do my pouring over the microphone trick. Look at this. There's like a little glass bottle inside. Gabriel with a tip. Thank you, Gabriel. The Dark Serve says ice cream is good for growing boys. Here we go. Yeah, wow, that's a bad pouring device. This bottle is not meant for pouring. Gosh, look at that. Look at that. It's spilling over the side like that. Man. All right, so we got our rum. Let's taste that rum. Swish it. Between the teeth. There we go. Gargle. Oh yes, I'm picking up the fubrescence of it. The fubrescence is just illuminated. And I feel like it's dispersed the ointment through the carvalescence of its tranquility. But you know what? If we're going to be doing this correctly, we should be comparing it to something that's, that's similar. We should compare it to something that's similar. And there's nothing more similar to rum than some Glenfiddich Scotch. Right? So I've got a nice bottle of 14-year-old aged Glenfiddich Scotch. And we're going to be doing a fair test here. Here we go. Just enough for the experiment. It's got nice legs. Buff Canuck says, great live stream as always. Love you, Oxhorn. Thank you, Buff Canucks. Glad to have you on the program. All right. We've tried the rum. Let's try the Scotch. Hold on. Swish it. Puff out the cheeks. Oh, yeah. No, that's good. That's compared to the fubrescence of the illuminated rum. This Scotch has a tangent quality that's quite opaque. And I can feel it constrict the velocipids in your palate that really enhances its obliqueness. So, that's how they compare. But if we're really going to be doing this correctly, we should be trying a third type. So we've got some Woodford Reserve Kentucky bourbon. And we tried it with the nice smooth glass. We tried it with, the classy crystal glass. And to really make sure that we're being thorough, we'll try it with a sippy cup. Just enough. Swish it. Let's make sure that alcohol absorbs as much plastic as possible. And then we'll use the handy attached straw. Really dry out those sinuses. Oh. Now that's a note. I don't know if it's a floral note or maybe a protein note, but that note, whatever note that is, really belongs on this scale. Particularly in this time. It really adds to the metric posse that one would expect from drinking bourbon from a sippy cup. Okay, so there's my review of the Nuka-Cola Dark Rum compared to a number of other classy beverages that we've just really been enjoying elsewhere, on the program, sometimes during my show, but this is unique. And I have to say, does it compare? Well, of course it compares. I compared it just now. That was a comparison, and there you are. Cheers. I better pace myself because I've got 2 hours ahead of me. And 3 beverages. You know what? This calls for a brand new cigar. Oh. I should have brought some crackers. Just to soak it all up, right? Ooh. But you know what we'll do? Just to really polish it all off, we'll cut it with some iced tea. Oh, yeah. That's how to do it. You know, before I decided to focus on video games, I did contemplate becoming a professional liquor and cigar reviewer. And as you can see, through my years of study, I'm fully qualified for such an undertaking. But as passionate as I am about this subject, I still decided to go for gaming. But, you know, I try to bring it on in. Bring my passions together with this program. Whew. Feeling good. Laura says Hopinox gets a bit buzzed on the show tonight. I'm gonna try not to. I'm feeling good. I've had my libations. I'm gonna kind of, you know, just enjoy this cigar for a little bit. Hazu Videos says, Supbox, what's your favorite action figure that you have there? I don't have any action figures. Well, I've got some Vault Boys bobbleheads there, right there. I've got Anuka Girl there, a little statuette. And then some Fusion Fleas right there. They're not really action figures, but they are props. I don't know what my favorite is. I just love them all. The display is coming together. It really is. Eventually, I'll do a video of the entire display, but not quite yet. Dawson Holiday, with a wonderful tip, says, as a capitalist, I want to side with Mr. House. As a humanitarian, I want to help the NCR. As someone with common sense, the Legion, interesting. Oh, no, as someone with common sense, the Legion is not happening. And yes, men is, well, you know. Yeah, so your thoughts are similar, but not exact to mine. So as many of you know, we're ending our series on the full story of Fallout New Vegas. We will end it in about 2 episodes. We're almost there. We've been doing this for almost a year. So this is really the culmination of a lot of work. But it's exciting because we've gone through the house ending, the Fallout New Vegas, we've gone through the Legion and the NCR endings, and we are finally getting through the Yes Men ending, which means I have to figure out which one I like best. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know yet. So I'll tell you, so here's a bit of a sneak peek, okay? I will eventually do a video on which faction I think is best for the Mojave. Haven't done it yet, but I have been thinking a lot about it. Not the Legion. I think I made that very clear in my 40-plus minute video where I provided all the evidence why I think the Legion is the worst choice ever. So not the Legion. I love an independent New Vegas, but I've got some issues, and I don't want to pull the rug out from. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to talk about my issues with an independent New Vegas. But I'm kind of not leaning towards them. Really, the 2 best options, in my opinion, are House and the NCR. And I did a video on why I think both. I did 2 videos on why I think both are bad for the Mojave. So it's not like I'm blind to their flaws. I understand why they're flawed, but we don't have any good choices. All of the choices for the Mojave have flaws. They all have flaws. The goal is picking the one with the fewest. It's tricky. Basically, I mean, it comes down to, do I want a despotic overlord who does good? He does what he thinks is good. But I mean, then again, how many despots don't do what they think is good? It just so happens many of them think that helping themselves is good. House is similar. though on occasion he does do what's best for Vegas. Yes, he saved Vegas, but just so happened he lived there. So, I mean, I don't know if we can really give House a high quality marks on his character, but the cool thing about House is that since his survival is dependent on the survival of Vegas, as a natural consequence of wanting to simply exist, he will make the best choices for Vegas. So that's great. But there's more to the Mojave than Vegas, and that's the problem, right? He may make the best choices for Vegas, but is that really the best for the Mojave? Or for the West Coast? I don't know. It's tricky. Got a lot to think about. Plarby says, glad you got home safely from the edge of the world. Yeah, I took a paddle boat out to the edge of the world because as a flat earther, I believe in that. So, and I looked over the edge and I thought, man, I'm here. You know, people have been trying to get here for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and here I am. And I watched the fireworks and, wished everyone a new year, then paddled back and I didn't bump into a kraken or a leviathan. And so I'm going to call that a successful adventure. Liama says, I love your videos. Well, thank you, Liama. Good to have you on the program. Buff Canuck says, yeah, Hitler thought similar. I mean, in his weird, distorted logic, did he think he was doing the world a favor? Did he think he was being good? I don't know. How can you? I mean, I think Hitler suffered from the ends justifies the means sort of thing. I think he knew that what he was doing was just pure evil, but that the ultimate result in his weird, distorted mind was good. Therefore, it was okay to be evil if you're really trying to be good. But we all learned how that turned out. Valdude says, so, do you like the rum? Well, as I said, it's frondescence matched with the constricting nature of the Scotch, and compared to the frubescent brandy, it stood out on its own. So I'd say that head and shoulders it rises, but not quite as low as shoes do to the floor, which is saying something for an alcohol content of 35%. Plarby says, well, you see, I had to ground the Kraken, and Leviathan drank too much, so they couldn't attend the party. They were there and I missed them? Doggone it. Dr. Evilface says, everyone is the hero of their own story. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Everyone really is. We can't say that. I mean, there are people who are very, very aware of their own flaws, and they're humble, even to the point of just being, they don't stick up for themselves. But you are right that most people tend to see what they believe as true as good, right? Naughty Pickle says, are you actually a flat earther? Now, since this is recorded and it's going on the internet, of course I have to say, no, I am not a flat earther, but I shouldn't have to explain that. Like, isn't it obvious that I'm not? Isn't it obvious that I'm not a flat earther? Why do I have to say that I'm not? The Dark Seraph says, was Glen Moraine a good choice in Scotch? Yeah, I like Glen Moraine. I like Glen Fiddick a little bit better. It's a bit peatier. But I do like Glen Moraine. The nice thing about the 14 years is it goes down smooth. It does go down smooth. Preston, with a great question, says, Ox, something I never really understood is why the roads can't be kept secure in the Yes Man ending. Couldn't the courier use the tech in Big Mountain, namely Star Trek replicators and holograms, to do so? Yeah. I mean, this is a huge problem with the Yes Man ending, which I will get to. I really don't want to get ahead of myself, but the Yes Man ending is so contrived. Just from a gameplay and narrative perspective, it's a tacked on dangling chad of a story. It's so contrived Because obviously, if the courier had all of the power of House's Securitron army, not to mention the secrets of Big Mountain and everything that he or she has discovered on his or her journey, and he really had that power and could wield it over all of the other factions, yeah, he could replicate any number of robots or holograms to patrol the streets or do anything he wanted to, including becoming a tyrant of his own. But by siding with Yes Man, even though the logic of the argument goes, well, now you're in control, you have the Platinum Chip, you have House's army, you can do what you want to the Mojave, but really the only option you get is an independent Vegas. Doesn't make a lick of sense. Master and the Assassin says, Ox, what's the most expensive drink you have had? On my stag party when I was getting married, my brother took me to a pub in Portland, Oregon. And I don't remember what it was called. I don't remember what it was that I drank. But he spent $100 because he was treating me for one shot of whiskey. It was aged 50 some odd years or something like that. I forget what the brand was. I've got the receipt. It was so good. I saved the receipt and I've got it in a catalog of my own collectibles. But I don't recall exactly what it was. But yeah, that's the most expensive scotch I've ever had. Mark Alexander says, hey, Oxhorn, out here in Maryland, there's a local brewery in my area who did a few Fallout-themed beers. RAR in Cambridge, MD. You drink beer at all? Every now and then I'll drink a beer. I don't have a fridge stocked. It's not, like an everyday beverage. But if I go out for a nice dinner, steak dinner somewhere, I'll have a pint with a dinner. So yeah, I like darker beers. And Guinness is not my favorite. I like Guinness. It's okay. But if I'm going out for a nice beer, if I can see through it, that's not a nice beer for me. It's got to be so opaque that it's murky. I'm guzzling some murky water with that. I like Old Rasputin. I like Irish Death. There are a lot of local breweries around here in Seattle that have great beers that I enjoy. Mr. Diesel says, Oxhorn, would you try Sea of Thieves or no? I have thought about it, but as much as I have liked the idea of Sea of Thieves, a lot of the footage I've seen of people playing it wasn't really up my alley, particularly the multiplayer aspect of it. Binary Ghost says, have you ever tried barley wine? I never have. Thomas says, and I'll put off the screen, any recommendations for whiskey? Knob Creek is good. This Woodford Reserve Bourbon whiskey is good. Johnny Pickle says Mississippi Mud is a good dark beer. From the name, it better be. If you're going to name your beer Mud, it better be a good dark beer. Zeus says, hey man, how is that Fallout Nuke rum? Well, I don't know. We'd better try it again. Here we go. Man, the molecules are exuberant in a very fibrous way. So high marks on my book, from my book. Sarah Dahl says, how long are you going to keep playing Fallout 76? For a long time. I don't know. I've been doing the other Fallouts for 3 years now, and I'm not done. So I don't know. The cool thing about Fallout 76 is there's just, the story is so spread out. It's really a detective story, is the story of Fallout 76. If you just do the main quest, you don't walk away knowing the story. You gotta really go everywhere, read everything, and try and catalog it in your mind. That's the fun part for me, and I'm not done, so I've got a lot to do. Dawson Holiday says, a big difference between Hitler and House is that Hitler was a socialist who invaded capitalists and communists alike. Hitler differs from House quite a lot. Bernard Francis says, "Hey Oxhorn, what do you think of upcoming vending units in 76? I wanted to roleplay as a vendor from the start, but became more of an intermediary or broker for my growing number of Fallout 76 friends." To be perfectly honest, I haven't been keeping up with the news on Fallout 76. When I went on my break, I really went on my break. I just logged out of everything. I barely tweeted. I barely did anything. But I did hear that they were going to be revamping the way that you can sell your goods to other players. So I'm looking forward to that. Look, I honestly don't think that we can get much farther with this game without a local bazaar or a marketplace or some way for players to vend their goods. And I think Bethesda knows it, but I think that before they offer that, they've got to get rid of the duplication issue. Because if people can cheat and duplicate their legendaries, it destroys the marketplace. The value of everything goes way down. And suddenly everyone in the game is running around with a 2-shot Dragon rifle or a 2-shot Tesla rifle or something, automatic Tesla rifle, that they got for 5 caps because the economy is so weak. So before we see anything like we should in this kind of game, they've got to fix that issue. Shot of Whiskey says, "Hey Oxhorn, please shout out. Happy belated birthday, Irick." Please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing his name. Irick, my boyfriend, and I love your channel and look forward to your streams. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Shot of Whiskey, and happy birthday to Irick. Insidious says, "I prefer mocha lattes or French vanilla coffee. Both good choices for the morning, in my opinion. But for the evening, we've got rum and whiskey." Ash Malachi says, "Ox, we know what your favorite hard drink is. Do you have a favorite soda or other drink?" I don't drink anything else. I drink water, I drink coffee, and I drink whiskey or scotch or sometimes rum. I don't drink soda. Okay, I drink tea every now and then. Speaking of, let's dilute the liquids. Much better. Whoop. What type of cigars do you smoke? Have you played Skyrim? Yes and yes. Or actually, burnable ones and yes. This right here is a La Aurora y Leon Corojo. It's a little bit smaller than a Churchill-sized cigar. A little bit bigger than it. I mean, it's Churchill-sized, but it's not quite as thick in diameter as some of the others that I have smoked. But La Aurora is a good brand in terms of price. They're an affordable brand for me. Valdude says, "Speaking of lattes, how do you like your coffee?" I like Americanos with about 2 inches of cream and some sugar-free flavoring, like vanilla. This is God says, "I'm glad you bring morality to the gameplay for your youthful viewers. We should play sometime. Computer, Xbox, or PlayStation, your choice." I enjoy talking about morality in my videos when it fits the context of the world. Like, I really don't want to turn my channel into a soapbox upon which I stand to spout my own views. That's very tempting, and I've failed many times in the past. There are many videos that I regret making because I feel like I kind of soapboxed too much. My video on Kellogg, for example, I really enjoyed doing my video on Kellogg, but I tried to psychoanalyze him in that video, and I'm not qualified to do that. So I was really hard on him, and he deserved to be hard because he's a mercenary and a murderer. But there are moments when I'll soapbox too much, and I always regret doing that. So I always have to be very careful to not slip on down into my soapbox mode. And it's hard sometimes because the Fallout games really do make you ask the tough questions. And this is something I'm struggling with right now because I'm working on a series on Oasis right now. I've got all the footage recorded, and right now I'm plowing through the videos. They'll probably be out in a couple of weeks. And it's such a hard decision to make. And I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't done it yet, but I'll just say that the final decision we have to make at the end of that quest is so difficult if you sit and think about it. If you're not worried about the rewards and you're thinking about what the ethical question is, I mean, it brings us into the euthanasia debate, which itself is really difficult. So I've got all of these ideas going on in my head, and then I have to kind of just slow myself down and say, no, just keep it to Fallout, keep it to Fallout. Don't go off on, is it ethical or not to euthanize the elderly? Just don't go there, Oxhorn. Come on. You don't want to bring that into, just stick with Fallout. So it's tricky. I could just go way off and start talking about ethics and morality, and then this channel would become something very different than what I want it to be. It would become Oxhorn's soapbox, and I don't want it to be that. I want it to be Fallout and narrative and story, so I have to be careful. But that's the cool thing about Fallout, is it makes you think about things like that. And so I just hope I do it with an even hand. All right, I missed a couple. Foulform says, hi Oxhorn, I donated earlier during the 76 cast and asked about the canon ending of New Vegas, and I didn't hear you. Another round on me, I guess. Well, thanks, Foulform. You could always review the recording, which is live on my channel right now. And I'm sad to say that the answer is that we don't know. And that's was done intentionally. When Fallout 2 was released, it came with the Vault Dweller's memoirs as part of the handbook. And in the Vault Dweller's memoirs, they clarify a few things as being set in stone. First of all, the Vault Dweller was a man. He was not a woman. Second of all, Dogmeat died. Ian died. Many of the people that we traveled with just all died. And it's all canonical. They tell us exactly where they died. Dogmeat died at Mariposa. That's the canonical ending to Fallout 1. No matter what happened in your game, your Vault Dweller was really a man, and Dogmeat really died at Mariposa. And I think that was a mistake, because when you set in stone one of the possible endings to a game, you rob the player of the feeling that he really did anything with his gameplay. Now, Fallout 2 was still an amazing game, but I think Bethesda wants to steer clear of that. They did a little bit of that in Fallout 4. The official canonical ending to Fallout 3 is that the Brotherhood defeated the Enclave. And, I mean, that does kind of rob you of your choice, which I do regret a little bit. I would have preferred if the Brotherhood had not appeared in Fallout 4. As cool of an evil faction as they were, and I know many people don't think they're evil, fine, but I did a video on why I think they're evil, and I thought it was persuasive. I think they're evil. But as as cool of a faction as they were, I do kind of regret that they came in Fallout 4, because it would have allowed for our choices in Fallout 3 to have mattered. That said, you know, it's their IP, and they can do what they want. Just like before Bethesda, it was Black Isle's IP, and they could have done what they want. But in terms of Fallout New Vegas, we don't know what happened. Like, no one in Fallout 4, in the game of Fallout 4, tells us the canonical ending of what happened in New Vegas. So that's one of the games where we just don't know. Cutter Webb says, Ox, I arrived late on the stream and I missed your opinion on Nuka-Cola Dark. Care for a repeat? Of course! I'm always down for a repeat. Let's give this our thoughtful attention and our true opinion. What bubbles up for me are peaty notes of floss. They're just so flossy. And it really brings forth the protein nature of follicles in a very relaxing way. So again, high marks from Oxhorn. They're getting worse, aren't they? I need to slow down. Nocturne Jansen says, what's your favorite cheap scotch? Scoresby. Scoresby. This is God says, I think you did good from an older military guy, but either way, don't let me sway you. You do your thing, I'm just watching. You're one of the few gaming YouTubers I let my kids watch. Oh, that's very kind. I mean, my channel is not kid-friendly, just to be clear. I cover a lot of blood and gore, and I cover games with plenty of cursing. It's not a kid-friendly channel, but I do try to respect other people when I'm broadcasting or recording myself. The Dark Seraph says, a good mild cigar is a Macanudo. I really like the Macanudo 1968. It's a good, robust cigar with an overbearing flavor of price. Oh, or price. Without an overbearing flavor or price. I thought you were saying it had the overbearing flavor of price, meaning that it was a disgustingly expensive cigar, but apparently that's not what you were saying. Macanudo. Okay, that's good to know. This is God says, I'll trade you my Jameson for your dark. I'm enjoying the dark right now. Liama with a tip. Thank you very much. Ash Malachi says, Ox, would you like a Fallout game where the vault is a satellite in space and you flee like Fallout 3 and crash land back on Earth? That would be an... Yeah, sure, I'd play that. It sounds like a very interesting story. Thomas Dornick says, I've noticed that most of the decisions in Fallout have better rewards if you end a quest morally. On playthroughs where I try to be evil, I find myself wanting to get the better gear. I think you're right, and I think that's just the nature of working with other people. I mean, if you want to play through an evil character, that's fine, but you usually are evil compared to the wills of other people, right? So it's evil to blow up Megaton, but by blowing up Megaton, you're killing all of the people that could give you things and help you complete quests, right? So your rewards will just, as a nature of that decision, be less. You can be super evil, but being super evil doesn't really pay, especially if you need other people to help you with things. iRandom says, as a known Scotch man, I'm surprised you didn't vomit the moment you drank that swill. I'm drinking 3 beverages here. You have to be more specific. Which is the swill that you think I'm drinking? The Nuka-Cola Dark. The Glenfiddich. Or the Woodford Reserve. Which is the swill? Clarify. Woo. It's going to be a long night, I think. Bernard says, I agree that duping must end. You can almost feel it going on in the servers. As for vending, I see the market in ammo. I'm often requested to make 45 caliber ammunition. He means rum in general. Oh, I see. Well, you know, I'm not an exclusive guy. I don't like just Scotch, right? I love Scotch. It's my preferred beverage, but there are many other things that I'm acquainted with and that I enjoy, like rum. Yeah, no, I agree. The thing is, though, anyone can make ammunition, right? All you need is a tinkerer's workbench and the materials. You don't need the plans. So I see a market evolving for rarer plans, like the handmade rifle for existence, which you can't find a plan for that after a certain level. So that makes it a really rare weapon to have. Smart Mason says, do you ever think they'll bring back intelligent death claws? Also, I like the tales of two wastelands with an EMB and retexture mods. Also, do you think Bethesda should give Fallout to Obsidian? Maybe. Cool. No. I like the idea of intelligent, fuzzy death claws that we've seen in some of the previous games. It'd be interesting to see how that goes down. Yeah. iRandom says, it's the Nuka Dark. I would never disrespect the reserve. Got you. Did you not like the Nuka-Cola Dark? Robotub says, is Fallout 76 worth buying yet? I love your videos, so I'll take your word for it. Be my better judgment. Can I opt out? The last thing I need is somebody sending me an angry tweet going, Oxhorn, you told me it was a good game. And then I bought it. And it's horrible. And I hate you. I already get those. Which is why I always say, I can't make that decision for you. I am not here to say that it's a good game. I'm here to play the game. I play the game so that you can watch me play the game and make the decision for yourself. I have 20, how many days? 23, 24 days worth of playing Fallout 76 on this channel, as well as half a dozen or more lore videos about the lore we find in the game. I visited dozens of locations, some of which I've done some videos on, many more of which I will do videos on. And the reason I'm doing that is so you can see the game as it is and make the decision for yourself. So I can't tell you whether you should get it, because I don't know you, and I don't know what you're looking for in this game. iRandom says, honestly, it tastes a little too sweet, and the aftertaste, well, there was just something off about it. Yeah, the rum in general tastes sweeter than whiskey. It's made from sugar. I mean, rum is made from sugar. So it's going to be sweeter. But yeah, I mean, that's true. You may just not be a rum guy. KGB says, do a video on the Black Mountain Ordnance Works. That's something I want to do, but it would be an incomplete video at the moment because I believe we only have access to 3 or 4 of the mounds, right? But there are 9 or so. So we still have to discover what those are. Robotub says, fine, you got me there. You're welcome. Wasn't trying to get you. I was just trying to explain. SSFM says, any tips on getting started in Fallout 76? I get that question frequently, and I always answer it the same way. If you're just starting in Fallout 76, follow the main quest. The main quest is easy. It's in the main quests section of your quest log. Go through the responders, then the raiders, then the free states, then the Brotherhood, then the Enclave, until you beat that entire quest arc. Then, by then, you should be level 50. If not level 50, at least in your 40s. You'll have plenty of gear, you'll know how the game works, and you'll have explored many of the locations you would have stumbled upon anyway had you just decided to walk off and explore. So that's just my recommendation. You don't have to do this with people. In fact, if you're concerned about the story, don't do it with people. It's harder to absorb the story when you're running around with a group who all have different goals. They want to do different things. They want to race through the dungeon quickly to get the gear. And if you're stopping to peruse every single note, you're going to hold them back. They're going to have a bad time. It's just harder. The game is a multiplayer game, but the story is still a single-player experience. It really is. I just can't imagine trying to understand the story and experience it with other people in your group. With voice chat going off in your ear while you're listening to holotapes. Insanity. So if you want the story, just do it single player. Luke Babcock says, embrace the pillars of transistence. Oh, I embraced them. I don't think I want to again. That was a good 15 minutes I'll never get back. Joseph Rusciano says, any lore on Europe or South America in Fallout? I don't think South America has been mentioned, but Europe was briefly mentioned in the introduction to Fallout 1, in the cinematic, if you can call it that. The movie at the beginning to Fallout 1 briefly said that Europe had descended into a bunch of warring city-states due to the fossil fuel shortage, the fossil fuel wars. McChaster says, hey Ox, I was wondering what you thought about Roger Maxon's portrayal in 76 after seeing his logs in Fallout 1. That's a great question. And I've been thinking about that a lot because I know that I'm going to be doing a Brotherhood of Steel series soon for Fallout 76. Roger Maxon, as depicted in Fallout 1, is not as open as he is depicted in Fallout 76. In Fallout 1, he and his entire tribe are so horrified and scarred by what happened at Mariposa and by what happened during the Exodus. They lost a lot of their members to raider attacks during the Exodus. The Jackals in particular, not the Khans, but the Jackals and the Vipers raided the Brotherhood of Steel, killed many of them during the Exodus. Anyway, he's so scarred, that they were so traumatized by what happened at Mariposa, that by the time they got to Lost Hills, they really secluded themselves. And I believe that this is consistently portrayed in every single game, right up until... Well, I mean, even in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. In Fallout 3, when you meet the Brotherhood, yeah, they're helping you, but you're still an outsider. And they're still keeping to themselves. You have to be extraordinary to be accepted into their ranks. In Fallout 4, it's kind of the same thing. They really don't... They see the settlers and the people of the Commonwealth as beneath them, as to be used to achieve the Brotherhood's goals. And they allow you in simply because you're exceptional and because you have a Taita father. Roger Maxon in Fallout 1 is a little bit different in that he has genuine remorse. By the time he figures out that the scientists at Mariposa really were following orders, he is horrified by what he's done. He executed every single scientist at Mariposa, killed them, just shot them in the head after interviewing them. And he thought he was executing them as a member of the United States military executing a traitor. It was only after he realized, after interviewing every single scientist, that they really were following the instructions of America, that he became disenfranchised with the United States and seceded, right? So I think Roger Maxon really did care about people to a certain extent, but he was afraid of outsiders by the time they got to Exodus. I'm sorry, by the time they got to Lost Hills after the Exodus. So I don't know. I don't think he's the kind of guy, as we find him in Fallout 1, who would really reach out to West Virginia at all, or anyone. But who am I to say that, right? That's just my subjective opinion, and clearly that's not the case, because when we find out, as we find out in Fallout 76, he did. He got a satellite and started reaching out to anyone who could hear him, and it just so happened that he got a hold of Taggarty's detachment. I forgot what they were called. Flying something? I forgot what they were called. He got a hold of them and basically informed them that the government was gone, the military was destroyed. If they wanted to continue to serve as their little tribe, they needed to join the Brotherhood. That's how the Brotherhood got there. Then the weird thing about Roger Maxson is at the very end of the Brotherhood quest in Fallout 76, he goes on this big speech about how he really wishes the Brotherhood would open up more, and how even his son, whom we hear about in Fallout 1, his son was killed by the Vipers and the Jackals, I believe, and then his son is the Roger Maxson III, whom we meet at Lost Hills. So Roger Maxson's grandson. But anyway, then he starts talking about how his children and some of the people beneath him all the way on the West Coast were really isolationist, and he didn't like that, and so he was trying to convince Taggarty to be less isolationist. But Taggarty, for some reason, even though she was newly inducted into the Brotherhood, really liked the old school way of being isolationist. It came across as really weird. It's kind of almost being a meta lecture to the player from Roger Maxson I about playing with other people. It was really weird. And that kind of, I remember going through it during the live stream thinking, doesn't sound like Roger Maxson to me. It doesn't sound like something he would say. The Brotherhood has always been isolationist. The first founder of the Brotherhood, Roger Maxson, I don't think would ever go on this tirade about how they needed to work more with other people. I just don't think he would do that. So there are a few things like that. As he is depicted in Fallout 76, I would never have... I don't think I would have depicted him that way. I think I would have tried to have been as true as possible. But it's not like they... I mean, it's still entirely possible that Roger Maxson felt that way and said those things. Which he must have, because 76 is canon. So no matter what we think, our own head canon doesn't replace the canon of the game, the canonical lore of the game. It just doesn't. Even if we want it to, it doesn't. So, but I must admit, it was a little weird hearing that speech from Roger Maxson to Taggarty. No one's talking about what I'm talking about. They're all talking about bread and... What about Father Elijah's ending? Well, Father Elijah, by that time, had left the Brotherhood. He had left and gone and done his own thing. But even he was isolationist to such an extent that he wanted to kill the world. He wanted to be so isolated that he was the only one left. That's how isolationist Elijah was. Ronaldo says, "Big man, what's up? Not much. We'll be playing some Wolfenstein here in a bit. Good to have you on the program." Bernard says, "The main story is single player, but the most fun I've had is playing with friends. I particularly enjoy adding a touch of decor to a friend's camp." Yeah, the gameplay of Fallout 76 is clearly intended for multiplayer. The story, I think, is really... It's hard to enjoy in a multiplayer environment, but it's really wonderful for somebody playing by themselves, like me. In fact, it's hard to enjoy unless you're playing by yourself. Patches O'Houlihan says, "Oxhorn, have you ever seen the movie A Boy and His Dog? It's an older movie, but it's on YouTube. Has the 70s Fallout feel to it. Fantastic movie. I've never seen it, but I know enough about Fallout lore to know that A Boy and His Dog was one of the inspirations for Fallout. Well, for Wasteland, and as a consequence, Fallout. So it's one of those movies I'd love to watch. Maybe one of these days I'll just do a live stream of watching that movie on YouTube, and we can all react to it as we're watching it or something. That would be really fun." Jose Silva says, "Is there a nuclear fuel / energy? If there was nuclear fuel and energy, why a need for fossil fuels for the fossil fuel wars? Love your videos. Keep it up." Well, you have to bear in mind that the nuclear power was used as extensively in the pre-war world because of the fossil fuel wars. So it was draining the earth of its fossil fuels that led to pre-war America investing so much in technology. Cars were only driven by fusion cores, by nuclear power. They were only driven by nuclear power because there was a shortage of fossil fuels. So we have to see we have to see how heavily they were dependent upon nuclear power, not as being conflicting with the fossil fuel wars, but being as a result of those wars. Magic Wizard says, "Ox, ready to get some Nazis?" Yeah, I'm ready. I haven't played in a few weeks. I'm ready to kill some Nazis. Binary says, oh, I think YouTube would demonetize you for that. Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe I'll do it on Twitch. Molly Taylor says, hey, Oxhorn, was wondering what you thought of the Brotherhood of Steel game, even though they aren't considered canon, and the fact that they mentioned the Texas Commonwealth. I mean, it's just and I say this word with a grain of salt because it's not. But it's like an atrocity. I mean, it's not. A real atrocity is an atrocity, but it's kind of like an atrocity. I mean, just for those who don't know, Fallout, the Brotherhood of Steel, reinterprets the entire faction of the Brotherhood of Steel as we know it. Instead of being pre-war military remnants under Roger Maxson, who executed the scientists at Mariposa because of what they had done, and then went on an exodus to Lost Hills, instead of that, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel reinterpreted them as being the actual subjects of the FEV experiments at Mariposa. And instead of them executing the scientists and leaving, those Brotherhood soldiers rebelled, some of whom had been exposed to FEV. It completely reinterprets the way that everything we know. Like it's as if Fallout 1 didn't happen. That's how bad Fallout Brotherhood of Steel is. And that, among other things, many other things, is why Todd Howard said, yeah, that's just not canon. There's no way. I mean, even with Fallout Tactics, as weird as it got, it didn't go that far. I mean, it could have happened. You know, the fuzzy death claws and Harold with the tree and, you know, all of that could have happened. It's a bit out there, but possible. Which is why Bethesda makes references to Fallout Tactics even in Fallout 4. If you talk to Lancer Knight Captain Kells at the bottom of the Pridwin, he mentions the fleet of Zeppelins that came from the West Coast that crash-landed in Chicago, which was the setting for Fallout Tactics, right? He even mentioned it. But there's no mention of anything going on in Texas because it's just that bad. I would still love to play it for the sake of playing it. I haven't played it yet. I've just read about it, and everything I read is like, how did they allow this to happen? But yeah, one of these days, we'll get to it on the channel. Okay, time to get ready for Wolfenstein. I got to clear my desk a little bit. I've got too many bottles of booze sitting around. Okay, I've got my iced tea, got my whiskey. There's my rum. Setting up the workspace, it's important. There's my scotch. Let's move the cigar. J.A. Dowell says, did you get any Fallout stuff over the holidays as gifts? Keep bringing that great content, sir. Pardon me. Yeah, earlier at the beginning of Tuesday's live stream, I showed off what I got for Christmas. It included that car and this. Buddha. Vault Boy Buddha. Rub the belly for good luck. My wife loves me. Okay, I got to stop with the questions now. Let's start the game. All right, turn off my music. Turn on the game music. There we go. All right, hold on a minute. Almost ready. iRandom says, even with all of its flaws, I think 76 would have made it better if there were NPCs. It would have honestly made everything a little bit more enjoyable and immersive. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that sentiment. I think that by removing all of the NPCs, the game lost a lot of its lighthearted humor. Because the lighthearted humor we have come to know and love about the Fallout universe often comes from many of the personalities we get to meet, but they're all dead, which means that everything is really heavy. It's just a really heavy game. Every story, it begins nice and then it ends with death. Just death everywhere. It's fascinating. I'm enjoying putting all the pieces together, but it's lost that levity,
Oh, sehr good. Oh, Mr. Blaskovich, I will need some welding equipment, please.
Welding equipment?
Sid,
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out what exactly you were doing in this organization of yours. Was it some kind of supernatural engineering?
We don't believe in things supernatural, Mama. We believe in God. Das hier it's a philosophy. It is a way of understanding God through knowledge. It is based on pure reason, pure rational thought, not supernatural bupkis.
Huh. So everything you have created, what were you planning on using all that stuff for?
You don't understand, Mama. There was never any purpose or intent of use beyond the act of creation. We create to commune with God. Do you see that?
You've lost me.
It's like mathematical equations.
Oh, go on, Mabel.
And each solved equation brings you closer to God.
But never intended to be used.
No, the act of creation itself is the intended use.
What does Mabel? She has something cooking in that Chinese of hers. Do you appreciate the distinction? Mama, the safekeep I'm about to reveal to you is not a treasure chamber. It is a deep geological repository, protecting some of our most dangerous creations for the sake of the outside world. The purpose already served. Do you see that?
Whatever helps the cause.
Huh.
Oh,
All right, what's this? East London, 4th October, 1948. My dear Bobby, it's Saturday night and the bombs have barely stopped falling when I sit down to write this letter. I'm on the roof of the building where the auxiliary fire service has set up a fire station. I'm drinking a cup of coffee and smoking a cigarette, and I can still hear the klaxons ringing in my ear as the whistling sound of the bombs make as they fall from the sky. From up here I can see across London. Even in its ravaged state, it's still so sordidly beautiful, isn't it? Old and rough and grimy. My home and my heart. Thank you for your letters, my love. I can't begin to tell you how much they mean to me. I hope my reluctance to reply has not caused you worries. The reason for this is, and this may sound strange, that I don't want to write untruthfully to you. I've feared that I might upset you with my words. However, the truth is better than nothing at all, wouldn't you agree? So this is the truth. London is burning. Smoke plumes rise from the city, like pillars of the earth keeping the sky from crashing down. The all-night bombardments have been unrelenting, and each day has been a renewed struggle to hang on to every thread of hope one can find. How can people go on in the face of such remorseless determination, such senseless killing? I don't know, but I'm thankful that they do. I'm still covered in soot. I can feel the smoke in my lungs. They said women were not supposed to fight the fires, just manage communications and work in mobile canteen vans and such, but things have changed. An hour ago, I was in Canning Town here in East London, the Catholic school, do you know it? The school took a terrible hit during the recent bomb raids, and we were there trying to put out the fire. The fire raged as if the very gates of hell had opened up. I was holding the fire hose together with Susie Tuckfield, and I saw children stumbling out of the ruins covered in blood and ashes. I heard tiny voices crying out from inside the burning school. One of my colleagues, Brittany, went in to save a little girl on the second floor, but she never came out. She was such a sweet girl. During the last month, we have lost 3 of our fellow firefighters, all good friends of mine. But life goes on as it must. At night, everyone in the neighborhood goes down to a nearby bunker. Old William McKinley has turned into a bar. People come there to reinvigorate themselves with drinking and singing. It's quite strange to see life continuing as if nothing had happened while the bombs are falling around us. That's Londoners for you, isn't it? Last night I dreamt of little Johnny again. We were together on the fairground in Brighton, where we used to go during the summer. Do you remember? I was kneeling down beside him by the edge of the pier, and we looked out to sea, and you were standing behind me, and it was so blue, Bobby. So blue, like sparkling sapphire, and calm, and no one spoke or worried about the war. I held the palm of my hand against Johnny's cheek, and he was eating spun sugar, and laughed when a spray of water from the breaking waves hit his face. When I woke up, I could still feel the soft skin of his cheek against my palm, like a phantom sensation. I cried for a long time, Bobby. There's not a day goes by that I don't think about him. When you come home, when all this is over and we are together again, I want us to move out into the country then, like we always dreamt we would. Even if we are poor now, we can make it together somehow. I truly believe that. I must go now. I can hear the sirens. I'll post this letter on the way out. Promise to send you more. I miss you so much, Bobby. Come home to me. All my love, Charlotte. What were we talking about, levity? A moment ago? Just darkness and levity? Okay. I think I've read all of these. I have read all of these in past episodes. Okay. What do we got to do? We got to find some tools. Is that what we need to do? He asked us to find some tools. What's this?
Don't be touching my baby girl without permission now, soldier man. You just stick to them guns and the Nazi killing.
What about you? Why don't you step up, join the fight?
What fight? Your fight. You took your orders from the man. The U.S. motherfucking government, man. What a trip. The war came and the man came calling. He sent my daddy to war and he did not return him. The bombs fell on our great cities and the man ran scared. Motherfucking gave up, you know? Huh. Nazis asked him to get down on his knees, and the man was all too happy just to pucker up and start kissing Nazi ass like it was the most natural thing in the world, you know? I had to cross an ocean to get away from that place. They would throw me in the gas chamber just like they did all the others.
None of that has anything to do with me. That's not the America I fought for.
Really? I was little. My mother wanted to take me to the picture show, but we had to go in through the fucking colored entrance. I wanted a hot dog and a lemonade, but the sign says we don't serve Negroes in this establishment.
What?
You're a patriot. Blue-eyed, jarhead, motherfucking Nazi-killing patriot that you are. You're still a fucking puppet to the man. You're exactly the kind of guy they ordered in come lynching time. You don't get it, do you? Before all this, before the Germans, before the war, back home, man, you were the Nazis.
Be careful what you call me.
Violence. Language of the man. Can't you see? We're all just brothers and sisters now, aren't we? Hey, soldier man. You play?
Pretty little girl I chanced to meet, and we danced by the light of Buffalo gals. Won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight. Come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of...
Open.
What is this?
Is that supposed to be LSD?
In that
Stovetop
I
LSD?
glimpsed what a free mind can accomplish. What this world has turned its back on. I was on a ride no one else had taken.
Oh yeah, that's
And in that
LSD.
moment, I was at the feet of a god.
I think that was supposed to be Jimi Hendrix. All right, armor upgrade. Cool.
Help Set locate any part he might need, okay?
Yeah, okay, I know. You need what? Tools again? I think he needs tools. Oh no. I don't remember them. Sorry, buddy. No, it's okay. Eat your dog food. I won't interfere. Just looking for tools. Oh, hey, man. You all right?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's just my wedding ring. It's gone. I'm always so clumsy. I lost it when we got back. It's not worth much, but it's all I have left of him. My dear Sebastian.
Oh, great. This is the scavenger hunt portion of the game. Find ring. Oh, dear me. Okay, we gotta find tools and we gotta find a ring. And here I thought I was gonna be able to kill Nazis.
Someone's been studying up on helicopters.
Anything down here? Well, if you're gonna lose a wedding ring, this looks like the kind of place you would lose it. Though this was important previously.
Really? From Eisenwald.
Shh, it's him.
You guys seen a ring? No? Talking about me because I saved your life? Okay. Looking for a ring, looking for the tools. Looking for a ring and looking for the tools. Oh, John. Okay, John told me where the ring was. Thank you, John. Hi there.
What's up, Captain?
Looking for the welder. You seen it?
Oh, yeah, I was attempting to fix the broken railing over at the secret fountain entrance, and I dropped a welder in the water. I haven't gotten around to fishing it out yet. Maybe you could give it a shot?
Oh, sure.
Look by the secret fountain entrance, Captain. I dropped the welder in the water.
Okay, secret fountain entrance, welder and water. I'll do that in a minute.
No problem, man.
Jay?
What?
I asked you to hand me the screwdriver. Just toss it over here.
Oh, right.
What are you doing?
I'm working on a riff, man.
In your head? Don't you need a guitar or something?
Inspiration strikes like lightning. You gotta punch the ticket. Take the ride then and there, you know? Or else it drifts off into the great beyond.
Uh-huh. You know, I dabbled in music a little bit while I was at Harvard. Yep, played clarinet in the marching band.
That's cool, man.
Even wrote some melodies myself. I don't think I can remember them now, but...
I'm sorry, man. Could you just be quiet for a moment?
Yeah.
I'm losing my groove.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So let's go do the ring first, and then we'll dive on in and get the tools. Ring first, tools second, and who knows? Maybe they'll ask us to do something else. After all, we seem to be the only one who does anything around here. That's all right. Upsy daisy. What you working on? Valentin? Oh, hey, buddy. That is your name, Max. Well, I'm glad I found his toys earlier. I'm glad he's happy. This must be a memorial to everyone they've lost. I already found all of his toys in a previous episode, my friend. toilet paper. Flipper Flop Dop with a tip. Thank you, Flipper Flop. Tools. Ah!
That seems to be in order.
There it is. Borrowed welder Wyatt. Okay. So that's what I would have found. That's how that was supposed to play out. And there's my bed when I can have a nightmare. But we already did that in a previous episode, so we won't do that now. Let's move on. Let's give the ring back to what's her name, and then go do the what's it with the fountain and the who for Wyatt to get the tools. Where'd you go? Hey, I got something for you, girl.
My lord. You found it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, poor thing. Right. Wyatt. Let's go find Wyatt. Leggett says, Ox, really important for the cave he is talking about. There is a code that you push objects in the right order to upgrade your laser craftwork welding gun to not need any charge. Endless battery. There's a code that you push objects in the right order to upgrade your laser craftwork welding gun in the right order. Endless battery. Flipper Flop Dop says, can you notice me? Yeah, I just noticed you. I've already noticed you. Okay, the fountain. Am I near the fountain? Fountain entrance. That's what we swam through, right? Where do we get there? Oh, man, I don't remember. Is it up there? No.
The secret fountain entrance, Captain. You remember the entrance?
No.
It's over by the table in the main room. Look for the welder there.
Oh.
Should be in the water.
Thank you. Secret fountain by the table in the main room. Thank you.
Sorry, pal. Don't mean to, derail your train of thought, but I need to get through that door.
Doc, please. What I think about, I'd rather not think about.
That bad, huh?
Jay would think that when Jay seen what I have, your mind would break like an egg. How come it has not? Or maybe it has begun already and I just don't know it.
World changing. No matter who you are or what you're made of. Thing is, you and me, we just gotta ride the whirlwind. Make it through to the other side.
And kill all the Nazis?
And kill all the Nazis.
I will drink with you in celebration when that time comes.
You're on.
Yes. So I'm trying to understand what you told me about not needing to recharge, and I don't think I understand it. Maybe when I get there, I'll better understand. You said something about the right order? Maxed out. Oh man, I have to relearn how to do that. How do I? There we go. Ah. Sweet. Find a way back. Air bubble.
Meine Frau und ich sind im letzten Sommer über die Gibraltar-Brücke in Urlaub gefahren. Von Spanien nach Afrika. Es war fantastisch, das sage ich dir.
Ist es dort nicht gefährlich? Ich meine, wegen des Krieges.
Ich fand, es war im Süden. Afrika ist ziemlich groß, weißt du?
Mein Mann wollte immer schon mal auf Großwaldjagd gehen. Ich würde so gern einen Elefanten sehen.
Tja, wo ich war, gab es keine Elefanten. Aber es muss bestimmt noch welche geben.
Okay, I know I'm missing something. Ox, what do you think of the personal stories from the soldiers that you find in the game? I am touched by them. It's honestly kind of hard to read them all, but I do enjoy them. I'm glad they're here. What am I missing? I know it's stupid. I know it's just my big dumb head, but I'm missing something. I'm back where I started? Is that what you're saying? Did I go the wrong way? Oh, for Pete's sake. You know what? You're right. Oh, wait, no. Oh, for Pete's sake. Thank you, Weird Ed. J-Madge says, been following you for months now because of your Fallout videos, but love everything else you make as well. Just had to support the great content and all. Well, thank you very much. Sorry, we got to stop and hear the story. Ah. Hello. Is this what you were talking about the right order? Well, what's the right order? Oh, for Pete's sake. Oh, really? Two of them. Oh, no! Filing reports because the boy was trying on lipstick? Oh, dear God. Carl and Carla. Record found. Oh, okay. Oh, man, I'm going to have to drop my cool gun. Oh, but I can always pick it back up. Okay, what did I do wrong? I see. I see.
Welder.
I dropped my gun again. Wait, and I'm back. Oh, I'm back. Did I get the welder? I think I did get the welder, right? All right.
If we're going to steal a Nazi U-boat, I need set to repair that thing on the table. Help him with his work, will you?
Oh, Isha Koach, Shimshon, Isha Koach. That's all I need. Or actually, would you deliver this note to Anya? She will need the frequency of the transponder to track the thing.
Like I'm the goddamn errand boy.
Sure do.
William. Do you have a moment?
Hast du Platzgewitz gesehen?
Schon wieder mit dieser Unsinn. Mein Gott, was ist nur los mit diesen Leuten?
I want this. With you. Like this. Always.
It will happen, William. Believe it.
Finish up your dirty laundry. We're leaving.
But not today.
Listen to my voice, Blazkowicz. Where you are now, inside sewage tunnels, the intestinal tracts of the city, and deeper below, the Berlin catacombs, the West complex, the most secure site in all Berlin, the central munition stockpile of the Nazi regime, the things we could do with those weapons. Riot. We revolt. This access route is waterlogged, impenetrable to outsiders. There's only one way to breach across the perimeter. It's a tunnel glider. The Nazis use them for maintenance down there. We've been trying for years to bring it up to working order. This is the first phase of the plan to gain access to Set's underwater safekeep. Use the tunnel glider to find a way into the weapons depot in the Berlin catacombs. Anya has agreed to track your position over the transponder and provide tactical support. Good luck there, Blazkowicz. These are deep waters.
So I know you missed it.
Can you hear me? You have to make your way all the way through the sewer tunnels and into the Berlin catacombs. I'll try to guide you through.
But when I turned the screen off, a new door opened up to an exercise room, if you can believe it, where they found some aerobic equipment, like an exercise machine, a treadmill. What else do people use? Weightlifting and aerobic exercise. So that's what that was, and it just we don't want to think about exercise while we're killing the Nazis. So I turned the screen off. But now we're in a cool mini sub.
You might have to exit the tunnel glider to neutralize obstacles in your way. Don't lose track of the tunnel glider. It's your only source of oxygen.
Oh, great.
I was a kid, and the red tide was rising. Went in the water on account of disobeying Father. Felt like my skin was on fire. Like my skin was on fire.
You are right underneath the Eisenwald prison now. Caroline told me a few inmates tried to escape through the sewer system with some valuables a few years ago.
Oh, great.
They didn't make it very far.
Okay, so bodies. I can't tell what's up and what's down here. Ooh, cool.
Some areas might be too narrow for the tunnel glider. You may have to swim.
Oh, great. Well, I can't buzz that down. And I need to go through there. I don't see any valuables. Ooh, what's that? A pipe that leads to air in case I need it. And that's where I came. Okay, so through the abyss. Hope none of you have thalassphobia or whatever it's called.
From the pond by the stables. Came up covered in leeches. Crazy, filthy leeches.
William, I have something I want to tell you. I've been reading this diary my grandmother gave me. It's my cousin Ramona's diary. She used to work with us at the asylum. She's dead now, but she had many secrets inside of her, and there was no one she could trust to keep them. So she
wrote them all down. I will radio the diary entries to your audio log. If you find the time, you can listen.
Oh, okay.
It's in Polish, but I'll translate. Ramona writes, May 11th, 1940. I've only been back home for 3 days, and now the Nazis have arrived in town. They killed Jakub Brozek. He was shot in the head. His horse was blocking the road. He taught me how to French kiss. I'm going to do something about this situation.
Those are the only ones I've got? Okay. Oxhorn, you missed a gold bar. The pipe led to one. Okay, well, let's go back then. Hate to think that I'm missing out on a gold bar. See if I can find it again. There it is. Where is it? Oh. Some gold bar. Am I blind? I must be blind. Okay. No time. What's that? Oh, that's where I went through. Leggett says, Dear Ox, please read. There is an underwater sub-base. There are floating objects that glow when pushed in the right order. That is in the next level, not now. Battery pops out. Upgrade endless charge. Okay, thank you, Leggett. If I surface, am I going to get shot? One way to find out. Ooh. Before moving on, let's see if we can hop out over here. No, there's no way up. But I could get through that. No, I can't.
The section you are in now, it's been out of commission for a long time, but some machinery might still be manually operable.
Reposition the pump wheels, okay? Is that enough?
Swam many water in my days. None as cold as this.
It's bright. There is another way that way. And I see something blinking. But then there's that too. Let's head this way first. Oh, that's where I'm supposed to go. Okay, we'll be back for the blinking thing. I want to try this thing out real quick.
The deep basin was used to regulate overflow. You will have to find a way to reach the platform on the other side.
Ah.
Look for some mechanism to fill the basin with water. It will have to be all the way to the top for you to swim across.
Okay. Bomb raid on Berlin. Berlin, March 17th, 1943. An RAF bomb raid damaged multiple residential quarters in Berlin last night. The raid caused large fires, with some witnesses describing a sea of flames engulfing several houses. Early reports indicate that a dozen civilians have been killed and scores more badly injured. Several people have also been reported as missing after seeking shelter from the bombs. Okay, we got to raise water to reach platforms. That's what this is about. Okay. Ramona's diary, entry number 2.
May 12, 1940. The Nazis have taken over the police station. They're asking local people to volunteer for service. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to find a way to kill them.
Well, how does this subplot end? I hope she was successful. We got our map. Can't go through there. But here we find it. All the way to the top. Oh dear. Great. I hope I can find my sub. There's that. Oh, man. Well, let's try it. There it is. Okay. So, wait, let's see if there's anything in here first. That's where I went. Oh, no, it's not where I went. Hey, hello. Enigma code, yeah. Mirelurk says, Oxhorn, I just got your book for Christmas, The Tale of Cloran Hastings. So excited to read it, and thanks for all of your 76 gameplay. You are welcome, and thank you for buying my book. I hope you enjoy it. see what's over here. That's the platform I needed to reach. All right, well then I forgot something.
This is as far as the tunnel glider will take you. Through the last section, you will have to swim. The catacombs are closed.
What is this? Holy cow. Ew. Oh man, I'm going deep. Ah, I'm gonna get lost. Wait, this is where I came from. Ah, man. This was the part that I hopped out to see if I could get over. And there's a door that I wasn't able to access earlier. Can't access it now either. Le Funny Meme says, hope you enjoy Wolfenstein. I am enjoying Wolfenstein. I already played through the Old Blood. That entire playthrough is complete and on my channel in a playlist. And we are now going through the New Order. After this, who knows? Maybe we'll do more. Okay, finally. Goodbye, little submarine. You served me well.
May 18th, 1940. Daytime, I care for the sick working at the asylum. On the evenings, I go to town to prepare supper for the Nazis at the police station. They seem to trust me. I think I can lure one of them away. If I can get a Nazi alone, I think I can kill him. I have never killed anyone. I don't know how to fight or fire a weapon. I will have to be smart about it. I miss the university. Perhaps what I'm about to do will be a learning experience.
Oh dear. Did she kill her Nazi? Do we alley-oop or do we fight another way down? I think we alley-oop. Alley-oop! Oh, and that's the way to do it. To hurt yourself. Okay.
Age 11. Swam across Forney Lake on a bed over 10 soldiers. It wasn't as dark as this.
Well. Nice. Bingo.
June 25, 1940. The Nazi appears to have a very high opinion of his mother. I learned this as he was bleeding to death at the end of my knife in the outhouse next to the bakery. Mutti, Mutti, he whimpered. My hands were shaking, nearly dropped my knife. I had told him I would kiss him, and he let me lead him outside into the night.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is awful. This is awful. Man. Don't humanize the Nazis, please. I mean, I know, but still. Hey! Locked. Oh man, more swimming. Smart Mouth says, Ox, watch out, those tunnels are the perfect spot for a Mirelurk den. Isn't every spot the perfect spot for a Mirelurk den? Okay. Drums in the deep. They are coming.
November 29th, 1940. The Nazi appears to love his sausage. I learned this as he kept on eating his supper, even though the cyanide must have ruined the flavor. His eyes rolled back, all wide, yet he kept chewing. The cyanide I stole from my mother's cabinet. At times, I am struck with pangs of remorse. But then, I think of Jakub Brozek.
Man. And what was I saying about levity? Yeah. You just went on a big rant about levity. So much for levity. Can I?
Age 19. Dove down the well to salvage Father's watch. But it wasn't as deep as this.
Okay. Stairs? There's stairs? Oh. What's this? The Pit of Despair.
William, directly above you are the catacombs. There's an elevator that can take you right into the weapons depot.
Okay.
Ramona writes, May 2nd, 1941. The Nazi appears to become sleepy after climaxing. I learned this as his little soldiers were leaking out of me onto his sheets.
Oh, come on.
And his face turned blue. From the rope I applied to his neck in his slumber. Tomorrow is my 18th birthday.
Jiminy crickets! Jeez whiz! Remember when I was saying earlier about this is not a family-friendly channel? This is not a family-friendly channel. Okay. Let's see what's down here first before we continue. Is this going to set me back? Probably. Yeah, I don't want to drop down there. That looks long. Ah! Enigma code! Pardon me. Ooh. Okay. Up. Up. Down. Bingo. All right. Here we go. That works.
Excellent, Captain Blazkowicz. You are now inside the weapons depot. This is the second phase of the plan to gain access to Set's underwater safekeep. In this munition stocks there is a cargo train. The train is packed full. Small arms, artillery shells, torpedoes and such for distribution to the Nazi war machine. You will steal this train. Small arms we can use to strengthen our fighters, but the real target is securing the torpedo delivery. This will allow you to board and seize control of a Nazi U-boat. But first things first, steal the train.
Okay. Plot.
Locate the train and drive it to the abandoned underground train station north of there. Our people will be waiting for you at the station. Klaus will give you further details on the ground.
Steal the train. Got it. Now. Tesla grenade. Yeah. Strobe. What does this do? Oh. Cool. Steal the train, steal the train. I can steal the train.
May 29th, 1941. The Nazi appears to have been brought up lazy. I've learned this when I outran 3 of them carrying a crate of grenades. I think I'm pregnant. I wish I knew how to use a gun.
Gee whiz. Gee whiz. Wish this was a rifle. Stab it in the neck! Oh, hi! I need to find a recharger. Where can I find a recharger? I thought I saw one a minute ago. It could be naked. Yeah, ha ha ha, there it goes. Any more? Yep. There's the train. Okay, before I steal this train, I want to make sure I've found absolutely everything. Maxed out. Great. Two little rooms. Three little rooms. Enigma code. Oh! Release! God! Yeah! Well, that was fun. Why did I do that? It was genius. Ooh, got a big gun. I like it. Any more? going. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's in here first. Shotgun. I'll be back. Actually, no, wait. Yep, I will have to come back. Oh, and there's nothing over here. Okay. Button.
Our ground team is in position by the abandoned train station north of your location, William. They will meet you when you get there.
Great. So, train, right? Man, where'd it go? Where do I come from? Where do I go? Oh, and it got me. Okay, try again. Try again. We can do this. Anytime.
Our ground team is in position by the abandoned train station north of your location, William. They will meet you when you get there.
Armor is pretty much done, actually. Ah, get recharged. Run away. Man! What's that? Okay. Let's try this again.
Our ground team is in position by the abandoned train station north of your location, William. They will meet you when you get there.
Ah!
Our ground team is in position by the abandoned train station north of your location, William. They will meet you when you get there.
right, this is really tricky. Do you have a sniper rifle? No, I don't. Use grenades. I'm horrible at grenades. I don't know if I have any. See if I do. I do.
Our ground team is in position by the abandoned train station north of your location, William. They will miss you when you get there.
Yeah, that was even worse. Just get on the train. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. I'll just take the train.
Our ground team is in position by the abandoned train station north of your location, William. They will miss you when you get there.
Hey, what do you know? We did it.
Right on time, Captain. Walk in the park, was it?
No.
Okay, well, I'll just get to work.
I have a friendly face. Delivers to the Nebeljagd. Alles in Ordnung, Horst?
Du, nimm nicht so viele Kisten, sonst merken die, dass etwas nicht stimmt.
Ja. They supply the torpedoes to all the Nazi U-boats in Europe. You will hide in the torpedo. Horst will slip it back into main supply. And you will wake up on a U-boat for breakfast time. Once we have a U-boat, we take it to Set's secret safekeep, yeah? Any sailors, get in the way. Bang bang soda pop.
Bang bang soda pop.
Air holes.
Okay, career Johnny. Get in the torpedo. Once you board the U-boat, patch this thing into the communication room and raise the antenna buoy. We need radio contact.
The dark dreams seem to fade.
Ooh.
Too far out of reach. For now, I just miss the light.
Oh, inside a torpedo. Well, I think we're going to call it a night there. I streamed about 25 minutes longer than I intended to, but we got pretty far, even though I had a bit of a rough patch there at the end. Thanks for hanging with me. We got there in the end. Anyway, this was fun. Thanks for joining me for Scotch and Smoke Rings episode 492. We'll be doing episode 493 next week, same Ox time, same Ox channel, and we'll pick up right here where we leave off inside the torpedo, inside a U-boat for more Wolfenstein: The New Order. Got a new lore video for you tomorrow. It's going to be the next episode in the Yes Man saga. We'll have one more episode after that, and that wraps up the full story to Fallout New Vegas. But then we've got a ton of more content to do. More 76 stuff, more Fallout 4, Fallout 3 stuff, Oasis coming soon. Stay tuned. Lots to cover. Anyway, thanks again for coming. I hope you guys have a fantastic Thursday evening. And as always, stay classy.